So am I live or not yet? Seems like I'm about to be live. Okay, I'll just type it in the chat that someone can let me know if we are online or not and if audio and video are fine. Oops. Oh, appear to your recommended. Wow. Ram, already in the chat. And we just started. Welcome to the stream. Just gonna set my mic, it just fell off. Uh-huh. Audio plus video fine. Same as before, right? Same as before. Like, that's what it should be. That's what it should be. Like, nothing has been changed. So, unless I messed up some streaming settings, which I hope I did not, it should be same as before. If you could confirm that, that would be awesome. Yes, let's go. Let's freaking go. We got some interesting matchups today. We got Vidit against Nepo, haven't we? That's gonna be an interesting one. That will be an interesting one. Seems like the games are just beginning. We got Gukesh against Fabi, we got Alireza against Abasov, and we got Hikaru. Oh, Hikaru is gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be sharp, I'm hoping. No, not another boring Roy Lopez, come on. Hopefully it will be sharper. But let's see if there have been any moves yet. No, not really. Not really. Until then, you guys can just chill. Type some messages in the chat. Yeah, type hi if anyone of you else has joined. Ram is here, the one of the OGs, waiting for the other guys. Yeah, it's gonna be really, really interesting today. Let's see how the games begin. Which openings are you expecting to see? That's a great question, I think. Which openings are we expecting to see, guys? Are we going to see a lot of Roy Lopez? Maybe some Sicilian? Maybe some Sicilian? E5? Possible? Candy shop owner, welcome to the chat. So early on you joined. So pleased to see that. Awesome, guys. Awesome. You already are here. What a way to start. The candidates. Yes, indeed, indeed. E5 is a possibility. I want to see some sharp knight off today. I want someone to play knight off. Have a feeling if Pragyananda plays e4, Hikaru's gonna go for a Sicilian. That's my feeling. I don't think Hikaru's going for e5 today. Let's see what my prediction is. If my prediction's correct or not. Would be really awesome to see. Really excited to see this one. No, Pragyananda, Hikaru, both are on same points. The guy who wins takes the lead. Candy shop owner, how are you doing, mate? How are you doing? Seems like some moves have been made. They are yet to be updated on chess.com. But I can see on the video they are making their moves. I can see that on the video. Let me refresh just in case. Not yet, nothing on my screen at least. One knight c3? That seems a little bit... I don't know. That seems a little bit improbable. No, I'm doing awesome, mate. I'm doing awesome. Just, yeah, thought I'll stream today since I could not stream yesterday. Even though I thought I would be, but yeah, so I thought I need to compensate today. And well, tomorrow, yesterday was a rest day, so if I were to do a stream, it would be like playing with the viewers one perhaps, or like an explaining openings. E4, E5 here, okay. Maybe we are seeing a Roy Lopez. Maybe your prediction will come true. No, it's a Petrov. Of course, Nepo and Petrov, like, come on, they go hand in hand. You can't say Petrov without Nepo now. But what is this line? What is this knight c4? Is it? I think this was played once by Carlsen, but that's all I remember about knight c4. Knight c4 is not the main move. think Carlsen played this. I mean, if you can verify, then it would be great. But the main move is knight f3 here. I mean, maybe knight d3 has been seen once, like a little bit less on top level, but knight f3 is probably the main move. Yeah, I mean, that's what we see regularly. We see this almost all the time. This sort of stuff. This is bread and butter. But what is this knight c4? Not this one. Not this one. Wait. This is a little bit sus. What has been prepared by Vidit here? A4, A5, H4, H5. Ram, I'm not too sure about that. Not too sure about that. Seems a little bit impractical for the candidates. But Vidit is going for an early queen trade. Is he fine with a draw? Is he playing for a draw as white? Surely not, right? Surely not. So what is this opening choice? Knight c3 is offering a trade of queens, like black trades the knight on c3. A bonk cloud, Ram. Okay, I think you gotta relax. I think you gotta relax. Knight c3. I don't know. Why can't black just take and claim an equal game after trading on e2? Has Vidit really analyzed this queenless middle game in depth, and he assumes he can play for a win there? Somehow I am not a huge fan of the opening choice. Even Injun claims to claim equality. I mean, you could after knight f6 or taking on c3. Both are okay. Both are really good. Which one? I mean, Vidit has to win this match in order to get a chance to win, so I don't know why he's going for this. It doesn't make sense, does it? Like, why not simply knight f6? Like by black, and I don't know what goes on there. Like, Nepo would be very pleased with a draw because then he gets like 2 more whites in the next 3 rounds. I would 2 whites next 3 rounds, black against Vidit, so that decreases Vidit's chances of winning. So I am not sure what's going on here. This opening is a little bit suspicious to me. Are there, like, can anyone of you check if there have been any top games here? Yeah, let's have a look on knight c4. Gukesh is playing Fabi. Gukesh is playing Fabi. Okay, they have this line here, and I can actually give you some cool insights on this line because I happen to have this in one of my games as well, and I played a brilliant positional game here. So, in my game, I played the move bishop f4 if I remember correctly. Yes, I faced this position once, bishop f4. My opponent took the pawn, and yeah, this was preparation. I played e3. My opponent played knight b6, defending the pawn. And this is what I had prepared. I played this. He played this. Queen a4 check. Was it bishop d7? I think he was playing c6. And I think I prepared something like queen takes and then a4. And I went on to win a very nice positional game here. It was against a German guy. If you search up my games, you can probably find it. I'm just trying to recall the exact move order. How did it go? Did he play knight d5 perhaps? Bishop c4. I remember I got a move like a4 in and it was like a positional crush. But e3 is a completely playable move here. Like knight b6, bishop c4 offers white a slight advantage. This is well known. Trying to recall how my game went. Queen a4 check, c6. Was it bishop e7? And then I played a4 maybe? Something like this. Unfortunately, I can't remember anymore. But okay, knight d7, nothing scary. Even Jordan Van Forest, the Dutch Grandmaster, tried this recently in Menorca Open. And he won a game. So it's an interesting line. The idea really is like there used to be a trap here. It's probably still there. I think bishop g5 you can take on c4, no? But bishop g5 is also possible. Okay. This actually transposes into semi-Slav. Semi-Slav, if you play e3 and queen a5, this is called the Cambridge Springs variation of semi-Slav. So a lot of moves possible. Maybe black did not want the traditional QGD, so he went for knight d7, trying to take black a little white a little bit out of preparation. This line, as far as I know, is harmless. I have been known to consider this line as harmless because I played this against some 2100, and when I was analyzing it, I could not find any dangerous things. Like one line goes here, which is bishop f4, dc4, e3, bishop, knight d5 first, bishop takes c4, bishop b4. This has been analyzed, but like castle has been known to be good here. You can sack a pawn. So let's say I take, you take, bishop takes. It's actually pretty good for white after rook c1 because white's all of the pieces are really coordinating and black's pieces are inside, and this bishop has to move again. So black is really behind in development. Like a move like d5 is absolutely crushing. Absolutely crushing. So as far as I remember, this line doesn't have much venom. So what is Fabiano? My opinion is play bishop f4, but if he's trying to avoid theory, he might take on d5. Really a question what he'll do. Bishop f4, bishop g5, taking on d5 are all playable moves. But I think objectively bishop f4 is pretty good. Hi Goli, how's it going? How's it going? Good to see you here again. Good to see you here again. I just we were just commentating on Jano's choice. Seems to be a little bit conservative because I don't think it offers real chances to play for a win. Not that I'm aware of. So what has he come up with? Is he going to try some dubious line which will take yeah, sure, which will take Gukesh out of preparation. Yeah. Pragg and the Hikaru has again chosen not so standard line like c4, c5. It's the Terrash defense, but this move order is a little bit unique. You usually see this move order. So if you want to see Terrash, you will often find knight f6, knight f3, and then c5. This move order is more common with e6. Or you will find c5 directly here. This move order is more common. Here you can actually take ed, and I think dc5 is a move. No, knight f3, knight c6, and then dc5 is a move. Yes, you can play this, and it gets pretty interesting. Like black often sacrifices a pawn, like with queen d5, and hopes for some counterplay with queen b6, knight f6. Gets interesting stuff, but overall white is fine. This is what has been analyzed. I can also remember another line where there was d4. I think this is also a line. And knight a4, bishop c5, knight c5, queen a5, bishop d2, queen takes c5 has been played before. An argument was that should you play rook c1, should you play b4, or should you play e3? This is what we were debating for a lot of time. And it wasn't clear actually, but I think Magnus chose rook c1. I think Magnus's choice became rook c1 and not including b4 directly. I can't remember what the reason was, but even b4 looks fine. Magnus, I think, chose rook c1 and then e3 after some move. Like queen b6, e3, I think I remember Magnus playing this. Or it was being played against Magnus, one of them. So I remembered this, but I can't remember why b4 was said to be a little bit inferior. Maybe it's not anymore. Still looks pretty good. Queen a4 is coming, pressure on d4, pressure on b4. This is what we have. No, it's a sacrifice for a lot of attack. Sacrifice for a lot of attack. Like black's pieces are nearly undeveloped, and the only thing which is out is black's queen and the knight on b4. So it's a pretty solid sacrifice. Like queen d6, it's hard for you to do something with this knight. I can play e3. If you take, this is actually a mistake. I can play bishop c3. And now everything is attacked. In fact, I'm sacrificing another pawn. If you take, you're actually losing. How to defend both of these things? All your pieces are inside. So b4 is not B4 is not exactly a blunder. No, it's not. It does not lose as a pawn. It's a sacrifice. Is that more or less understandable? There is huge attack. There is huge attack for white. Clear? Oh yes, maybe. Let me know. Till then, I'm gonna see if I can fix the brightness a little bit. Let me see. Is this better or should I increase the brightness? Okay, got it. I don't know. Does my screen brightness change yours as well? That's the difference between us and him. Guys, you will be my level, I promise you. You will be better than me, I promise you. You'll be. I mean, keep watching the stream eventually. Doesn't seem so. So, like, okay, there is no barely any difference. Okay. Because chess.com has made this thing such that this board appears too bright. I mean, I'm assuming even on your screen it appears too bright. They haven't fixed that glitch. I can try changing my settings, but I don't know. Will it make a difference? Not really. Let's see. Okay, so if I make a move, let's say e3, it still changes, right? We've been talking about this a lot, and chess.com is not doing much about it. Like move like d3. Oh, sorry, it's black's move. Yeah, it changes color, which is really annoying. Can I change the board style? Uh, what do you want me to change? Because chess.com is not allowing me to do anything. You see, if I try to change the board style, it doesn't actually change. Like maybe I can change pieces, but not the board color. Like I can bases, it doesn't make a difference. I can refresh, it doesn't make a difference. You see, once you're on analysis, yeah, I know it shows the difference between analysis and live game, but it becomes too bright, I think, which is a little bit unpleasant to the eye. Becomes too bright, I think. They should do something about that. Okay, I mean, if it's tolerable for you guys, then it's fine. I could go to leeches, but leeches doesn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you for that. The problem with leeches is that leeches won't show you the images of players. Like how on the left extreme you have images of players. Left extreme. Leeches doesn't have that, and I think it's a bit more visually appealing when you know who are the players who are playing. So yeah. Okay, knight c3 with this choice is a little bit, dubious. No, I tried that, goalie. I was trying it. I could not make it work. I'm still yet to figure that out. I tried. I just could not make it work. Um, if I delete the picture, I can delete the picture, but I don't know how to put the live board. The brightness of your phone didn't take visuals of them. Of course, there's a huge difference between us. Yeah, okay, I understand. I understand. I understand. Let's see. I mean, is the question is how to put a live board, no? If I no, I seriously don't know. Because I think that would require me a second monitor, won't it? All right. So let's see. Now we've got Alireza Abasov. Again, a dubious opening. Well, not a dubious, but a non-standard opening choice by Alireza. The thing is, it's actually fine. Okay, thank you very much. So I don't know what Alireza's trying to do this tournament. It's been, yeah, it's been a crazy ride for him, hasn't it been? Hasn't it been? Like we actually don't know what this guy is trying to do. Is he trying to quit chess? Is he trying to win? What's going on with him? Because what is this opening choice? Knight f3, e3, b3, bishop b2. I mean, like when you're playing at the candidates level, you gotta be prepared in a bit more formal style, right? Like this is a more of an informal opening. Of course, you can play it, but at the candidates level, really? Okay, this is at least better than what Vidit is doing, in my opinion. Vidit is doing something even worse. He's going for a queen trade early on. Like black can play knight f6, queens get traded. I don't know how white has advantage. Like even okay, knight f6. Maybe he wants to preserve queens with knight e3. That would seem logical. I can I can at least be a bit more uh, what do you call it? Bit more fine with that, or bit more appreciative of that. Like a move like bishop e6 could backfire a little bit if I played d4. And I think I know this one line where there is c6 g4, something like this. There is g6 g4 at least. This can become sharp. And bishop g2, g5. This stuff could become interesting. He's probably going for a dubious line to throw Nijat off prep because he's mad at him, as Nijat's the one who complained to the arbiter about. Uh Possible. Possible. But won't you want to play a very sharp case? Wouldn't you not want to make position as sharp as possible and then be well prepared so that you can probably create a miniature which is less than 25 moves? That's another way to think about it, but maybe your theory is also plausible. Your theory is probably also plausible. Yeah. Yeah, so this is what's going on here. I mean, okay, so the question that arises is that can black take on c3 and then go for this line, or does white have something to play for there? So I would assume whether it wants to take with the d pawn, bc3 would be some special preparation which I would not understand yet, but dc3 looks natural. This is how it usually goes. And let's say I play a normal move like knight c6, what happens? Okay, you have bishop e3, so you can block the trade of queens, in which case the preparation would be fine. The only thing I'm trying to see is if Vidit can avoid queen trade. If queens get traded, then I would think black is fine. Like even this position, I don't know why black is in so much danger. Like knight c6, what am I missing? Like what's with it trying to do? Like knight e3 to go knight d5, I play bishop e6. I stop that. Okay, so I'm not sure. Take with the side pawn, that's what principle says, right? Okay, so now there is a conflict between two principles. Let me show you. The bitrate is going too high. No. What's going on? Is my Wi-Fi okay? No, it's back to normal. Okay. Let me show you. There is a clash of two principles here. One principle says capture towards the center. Okay, so principally you would think capture towards the center, and this is probably better. But then you have three pawn islands. Pawn islands are like, how do you explain pawn island? Pawn island is how many groups of disconnected pawns do you have? So this is one group, this is second group, and this is third group. One principle says to take towards the center. One principle says to minimize the number of pawn islands. So which principle do you follow? That comes down to concrete within the preparation, or like concrete nature of the position. Here, I think I don't think it's terrible to take with the B pawn. It's just D pawn looks more natural to me because that's a typical Petrov structure. Mostly you see people taking with the D pawn. That's just more seen more often. But BC3, it's possible. Nothing too wrong with it. So the point I'm trying to make here is that DC3 is not principally wrong. It follows a principle, and so does BC3. It depends what's better in this exact position. And we have to judge that perhaps with some calculation. One thing you don't actually understand is all the super GMs go for lined up pawns early in the games. Even the book move suggests so. Why is it so? Cause what I studied was lined up pawns equal one pawn. No, not in every position. No, that's a misconception. Doubled pawns, I think lined up pawns, you mean double pawns. Double pawns don't necessarily mean a bad thing. In some cases, they are bad. So, for example, let me show you an example. Compare compare these double pawns with something I'm going to show you right now. So compare these double pawns and let's make a random position where we are long castled. Okay. This is one kind of double pawns. White is slightly better here. He has the open d5 for attack. Slightly better. Okay. This is one case. Let's look at the other case. I'm going to make some bad moves. Okay. So let's just play some random things. And let's say I'm going to show you an example because you see this time to time. Let this pawn be on d4. Let this pawn be here. Let this be here. Now compare these double pawns. They are terrible because now your king's safety is compromised. They are absolutely terrible. I can play knight h4, queen h5, line up attack towards your king. They are horrible, absolutely horrible. But what you have here with dc5, where did it go? So, like what you have here is nothing comparable because your king is absolutely safe with these double pawns and you have an open line for the rook. So, to explain that concept that double pawns are inherently bad, that's wrong. Not always the truth. In endgame, double pawns are more often than not bad, but in the opening middle game, there is no rule which says double pawns are inherently. Depends on the concrete nature of the position, of course. Yeah, I just said that, right? I just said that. One more thing you could argue is why did so many Royalopes where black was taking on c6? So how many times did we see this in the tournament? Quite a few times, right? And then you could argue if double pawns are really bad, why are these people playing this? The answer is it's not. It's not. So that's what I'm trying to say. Double pawns, if double pawns can provide you, let's say, some activity, that is great. But if they are just doubled and not giving you any compensation, then well, yeah, they are bad. Yeah. I think you guys, I'm going to recommend a really good book for you guys. I can sense the level here. You guys should try this book. This is really good for you guys. It's called Best Lessons of a Chess Coach by Sunil W, who happens to be the stepfather of Hikaru Nakamura. This is probably one of the best books you guys can read. So, I mean, yeah, unless you are not a fan of books, then of course not. I even heard if double pawns in the center, yeah, they can be too strong. That's true. Yeah, they can be. I think if we the Pragg and the Gukesh game had some double pawns in the center, didn't it? Or very close to the center. And they seemed quite strong, didn't they? Pragg and the Gukesh game. I don't know if he's Indian or not, but Hikaru's stepdad is Sunil W. Yeah, Sunil Veeramantriyal. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce his name. But you can have a look for yourself. Okay, any other chess questions, guys? I mean, nothing special in the opening so far from anyone. Like c5, Pragyananda's deciding what to do. And he's severely down on time. Doesn't seem like Pragyananda has prepared this in depth. Hikaru has been experimenting with all sorts of things, hasn't he? Is there any online courses on what? Oh, on this book? So you want a PGN? of this book. Is that what you're telling me? Are you looking for a pigeon? You know, Pragyananda only has one move realistically here. Okay, DC5 is possible. It's not. Okay, DC5 is another one. Okay. More or less two moves. This one or this one. If you play. This is possible, but I think it's a bit more conservative. I think black can take and play knight c6. This is like the Panov variation of the Karokan. Although this is playable as well. Will Pragyananda really go for e3? I would not go for e3. I would take on d5. This seems most principled. And then Hikaru will play cd4. Then you'll have to play knight d4, knight d5, and I think this is known to be slightly better for white after e4. Gaining center, you put the knight on c3. This is what's known, but I don't know what Hikaru has prepared. Maybe he found some line and made it work. Weird opening choice, but since he's gotten such a time advantage on the clock, I would say it has been a success. Videos, okay, videos on this book particularly not, but otherwise you can go on Chessable and there are plenty. Not on this book, I doubt. But Chessable, and even on chess.com premium, you can find lots of. What are the tiebreaks in case of a tie? Oh, so they play a 2 round blitz match. And then if that goes to tie, they play another 2 rounds, something like that. It's not something on bush holes or something. They play matches. So it's better than losing because of a tiebreak, of a stupid tiebreak. I'm surprised Hikaru went for this line because in a title Tuesday, I saw him go for the Albin counter gambit multiple times. There is no way. No way. He was he actually? Albin counter gambit is crazy. I mean, crazy bad. It gives nothing. You know what the refutation to Albin counter gambit is? I saw Grishuk playing this. So, Albin counter gambit goes something like e5, doesn't it? Well, this is the refutation that I'm aware of. Maybe Injun has found something now. But at least a couple of years ago, this was the problem. I think knight f3, knight c6, knight d2 was working very well. I saw Grishuk playing this. You play a3, knight on b3. And it seemed to give white a very definite edge. You can find a Grishuk's game here and just copy how he played. It's pretty good for white. Grishuk. Did I say Grishuk or Gukesh? I meant Grishuk. Yeah. So Albin counter gambit doesn't really work. Summon, welcome to the chat, man. How are you? Oh well, that first one by you. Okay. Welcome to the chat, man. But has Karyakin stopped playing professionally? He's been a subject of some controversy, hasn't he been? I think he said some dubious stuff online. Can't remember what it was exactly. He, I think, firstly, he was in support of the Russia Ukraine war, so he got some ban from FIDE as well, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he's been off the radar for a while. Yeah. And okay, Karyakin is not in his prime anyways, so it doesn't really matter. The question is who's really in his prime except the Indian juniors? Like they're still about to reach their prime. They haven't reached it yet. They're just getting better and better. So, yeah, imagine these Indian guys haven't even reached their primes and yet they are so scary. Yeah. Yeah, he's been in controversy with FIDE or something. At one point I think I heard the news he was about to create his own federation. Or like he was about to start his own version of FIDE or own version of chess.com, something like that. But I have no idea where he is. By the way, guys, you still did not point out it's round 11. I am still on round 10 on my screen. Guys, attention to detail, guys. Come on, what are you doing? Attention to detail, guys. Like, like I know you guys just want to look at me, but come on, guys. We are also here to look at the chessboard, aren't we? Yeah. So let's see if there have been any updates. Again, in the still on move 3, burning time on his clock. I thought Naka, this guy had played knight f6. No, even Nepomniachtchi's burning time. He seems to be not well prepared. I guess with its opening preparation has paid off. At least he's gotten a huge time advantage on the clock. But Nepo's capable of playing extremely quick. The decision Nepo's probably trying is whether to exchange queens or whether to go for knight f6, in which case Vidit keeps the queens on the board. Knight f6 would be a success for Vidit because he can play knight e3, preserve the queens, go for g4 ideas. So maybe I was too early to comment on his opening choice. Maybe Vidit is not doing so bad with his opening choice. The only question I don't understand is what's the plan for him here? Like, this seems pretty equal to me. This doesn't seem like offering Vidit any real chance of an advantage. So, what's his plan here? That's what I don't know. If Vidit can prove some advantage here, then his opening preparation is fine. Else, I'm not too sure. Else, I'm not too sure. Yeah. This seems to be very equal. And Gukesh, Fabi, Gukesh is also like everyone's the clock, or is my chess base bugging? Chess.com, I mean. Even Firuza is on 1 hour 27. These guys don't know what moves to make or something. Guys, am I bugging? Or there genuinely haven't been any moves. All of the people are stuck on early moves and burning. Isomaniac, you are finally here. You weren't here yesterday, or sorry, the day before. And we were thinking where you were. We were thinking where you were. So my chess.com is bugging. Why is there no bishop g4 then yet here on? I can refresh. Wait, I don't see anything here. Are you sure there is bishop g4? Or do you mean it's on the chessboard but not on this board? So like on the physical game bishop g4 has been there but not on this one. Is that what you mean? Ah, so now this is a problem on chess.com. Yeah. Is Leeches showing the live moves or even Leeches hasn't updated? You guys can check. When seems like there have been updates on Naka's game as well. Any updates on here? No. So chess.com has a delay, it seems. Chess.com has a delay. A delay. Oh, saw it 2 days back. Chess 24. You mean the app? Because I don't think the website is still there. Chess 20 bought by chess.com, no? So I don't think they still have the website. Not that I could find. But maybe they have what you call the app still going on for the live moves there, no? Oh, chess 24 YouTube live stream. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Do you have any social handles? I stay away from social media, you know. I'm a little bit more against social media. The best thing I have is email or WhatsApp. Maybe a little bit of Snapchat, but rarely. I stay away. I think it's a waste of time. So that's why you can probably see I struggle to be in check with the news. Well, at least the chess news and the normal news I follow. Because these chess news you guys basically find it on social media, don't you? So yeah, not too aware. But yeah, if something pops up on YouTube, then I am likely to be aware of it. Because I look at chess videos sometimes on YouTube. I'm always there for studying on YouTube. Yeah, this was another thing. When you guys probably searched me, those kind of videos did pop up, didn't they? The trading ones. We are way behind. I mean, what is chess.com doing? Nothing here, guys. I even refreshed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Like, I even refreshed in front of you. Yeah, I did. Teshal, welcome to the chat. Yeah, I was doing some trading as well. The thing is, with my maths degree, I am probably trying to make it into a proprietary trading firm. So I was just exploring trading for a while. The thing is, I could trade for myself, but it's not worth the time because it takes time as well as risk. And then I calculated the opportunity cost and it wasn't working out. So, I mean, I could trade for myself and I could probably make some money as well, but it's the time that it takes has a big opportunity cost. So, like, you can try investing. Investing is safe and it can be profitable over a long period of time if you're really interested in that. And investing is much simpler than trading. If you're exploring trading, I would tell you not to listen to the fake gurus on YouTube. They're genuinely fake. What do you trade? Mostly equities. Mostly equities. Sometimes gold. Uh, in equities like US markets, but sometimes gold as well. But yeah. So, okay, let me try leeches. But the thing is, the leeches screen would be a bit weird. Let me see. Okay. So let's see if refresh, try refreshing one more time. Let me, okay, let's, candidates, nothing here. Okay, let me try leeches for you guys. What do you see on my screen? You see leeches. Okay. And let's go to broadcasts. Okay, let's see. Leeches is moving a bit too. Leeches is also reloading slowly because I'm sure my internet's fine. But why is there a delay on chess.com side and here? Guys, even here nothing. You see, even on leeches they're not uploading. The games are still stuck. Oh, stay. Yeah, that exactly. That's why I don't trade in crypto. The trading fees is way too high. Guys, there have been no updates even on leeches. You can probably see on my screen. You guys stay away from derivatives yet. You're not equipped enough to trade in derivatives. That's called dark arts. You are 99.99% certain. If you trade without knowledge in derivatives, you are basically gambling. Gambling in not even gambling. In gambling, you have some chance of winning. In derivatives, without knowledge, you are trading. You are destined to lose money. Don't do it. Don't do it. So there is no point staying on leeches because even these guys don't have anything. Best thing we can do is go back to chess.com. Someone send me a bullet challenge. Some 2700. Hyper bullet even. This guy's crazy. This guy's crazy. Huh. The thing is, you do derivatives. Really? The someone you are asking some real questions here. The thing is, I don't know where exactly I would be, but I have some idea. Rohit, are you actually profitable in derivatives? Are you really? So, what are my future career goals wise? So, essentially, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try content creating, see how that goes. Should content creating be enough satisfying? Yeah, I'll come back to that, Rohit. So, what I'll try to do is I'll try to make content, and if it works out well, like I am enjoying it and it earns some money as well, then I can stay on this path for a little bit longer. Else, I would have to, career wise, be on the side of being a trader for a firm. That's what the current plan is. That's what the current plan is. Yeah. Wiped my account 2 times. Yeah, okay. Now you're profitable. Great. Are you listening to like one of those guys on YouTube? This Traders Paradise. Oh, you've been doing it for 4 years, so you genuinely have an idea of what you're doing. Okay, let's connect. Let's discuss some ideas. But are you listening to some guys on YouTube like this Traders Paradise guy or the Trading Room guy? Or are you just following your own strategies? Guys, what am I supposed to be commentating on if there are no moves here? What am I supposed to be commentating on? Somehow the chess.com broadcast has their moves moving, but nothing here. What is this glitch? Even Leeches is misbehaving. Let me see Leeches again. Broadcast. No, nothing on Leeches as well. Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. I think these all people are asking, like, they're all being fake. What they do is they all of them sell courses, don't they? They make money from courses, YouTube ad revenue, that sort of stuff. And they've got this Telegram groups sort of thing, don't they? All these gurus on YouTube claim to be, professional traders and all. Do you know you have to be in top 1.6% of the traders to make as much money as a McDonald's worker in US? Top 1.6% of the traders. I don't even know Dev Gardvi. I don't even know. But I know this guy, Traders Paradise. I know the trading room guy. Some foreign ones as well, but most of them are fake. Like nearly all of them are fake. Yeah, sounds cool. Someone, yeah, great to hear that you want to pursue a career in finance. That's awesome. Awesome. Exactly, exactly. Do you trade something like mean reversion, Rohit? Like, do you pay attention to mean reversion? I think mean reversion is something which is pretty solid and can be used in certain assets for sure. If you see, gold follows mean reversion. So if you set up 20 EMA and 200 EMA, you'll see gold often returning back to EMA almost always. Like you can open a chart right now. You see whenever it goes far away from 20 and 200 EMA in one direction, it often returns back. And statistically, gold more often than not, yeah, generally, yeah, I used to use 20 and 200. 20 for intraday, 200 is long term, but yeah, you can use probably 50 as well. Some use 20, 50, and 200. Okay, finally some moves. Okay, finally some moves. Finally some moves. 90, yeah, okay. I don't know what Vidit has got out of the opening. He's tried this knight c3, takes with the b pawn. So he has some ideas accompanied with the rook b1 plan. Bishop g4. Maybe could have exchanged queens first. It was possible. Goes for this idea, takes, rook b1, b6. How much time did Vidit spend on rook b1? Practically nothing. He spent a lot of time on queen takes e7. So I'm guessing he was out of prep after bishop g4. It's not the top line of engine as well. So now he's on his own. And I guess if you're in this position on your own, you're not really winning. You have to be in preparation to get some slight edge. Vidit could try knight e3, try to put the knight here. Chess.com's bugging again, give me a second. So you could try to reach knight d5. Bishop can go back to e6 to stop knight d5. And the question really is, how do you gain advantage? Now, engine shows you a move like a3, don't trust that. The only practical way to play for an advantage, in my opinion, is to play c4. You have to create control over the d5 square. And believe it or not, there is only one move which gives black equality, which is bishop f6. If you play knight d7, this is not great. You can play g3 and you get full control over the diagonal. So this is how you play for something. This is how you play for something. But a move like a3 is too slow. I think it allows black to consolidate. I am not a big fan of a3. Black can play d5 and I think black is good. Even though Indian's suggestion is a3. It's rotating between a3 and c4. But I would play c4. It's practically better. Okay, wait, I missed some messages. But seeing there is a bearish crossover in the weekly doji, do you think the markets will be temporarily bearish or sideways for some time? I haven't traded for a couple of weeks, so I don't know yet. I'm not sure what the context you're talking about. But I know the markets have been down recently, haven't they been? The equities are down for sure. Server is fixed now. Okay, great. In MACD, how do you all know trading? I don't use MACD. I only use a when I'm trading. I only use a what do you call it? Technical analysis, like without indicators. The only indicator, if you want to call moving average is an indicator, that's all I use. I look at price action. But this MACD thing, all that I don't use. You can use it if you want. I don't. It is the most unorthodox move in the position. Which one? Which is the a4, a5? Like if you play a4, it's possible. A4, a5 doesn't seem too bad because if black plays a5, then created some weaknesses in his camp. So maybe a4 is possible. Yeah, a4. Let's explore a4 for a second. I think your idea with a4 is interesting. What is okay? A4. You're trying to go a5. I'm starting to like this idea. I didn't see this initially. But now that I think about it, I don't care what Engine says. Engine claims equality. But I think this is a practically a very decent try. So great spotting. Great spotting by what do you call? Who's there? Who said A4? Isomania. Great spotting. A4 is nice. You're trying to play A5, at least trying to create some weaknesses. If you play knight A5, then this is bad. Well, it's slightly bad because bishop b5 is a development with tempo. Bishop d7, knight d5 perhaps, even f4 stopping knight e5 also is a some try. So white starts to gain some slight advantage and can play for something. Black is on the back foot. Black is on the back foot. The best move for black here is to play bishop d7, which is incredibly difficult to find, or even, okay, at least d5 is possible. D5 is possible to find. And then if a5, there is castle. So black can really ignore the thing because the rook does not stand on a1. If the rook was standing on a1, you could take on b6. Then black cannot take the a8 rook hangs. So, but this probably is okay. I take with the a pawn. Seems okay. Seems okay. But practically interesting. Practically interesting. I'm still of the opinion that c4 is the best, but a4 is practically interesting too. Yeah, b6 is a little bit unorthodox. Is that what you think? But what else was there except b6? Like how to defend the pawn? Do you have some other suggestion on defending the pawn? The pawn is attacked, no? Yeah. Sure, sure. So, I mean, I've explained this position briefly. I'll just mention just one thing. No, actually, this position is done. I've covered everything here. But the other games, Pragyananda. So, this was a an unorthodox choice by Hikaru. Because the main move order here used to be c4, e6, knight f3, knight f6, knight c3, c5. The position with e6 inclusion is the most well known because this is pretty standard theory. Like knight c6, this is called the semi-Tarrasch. And if you take play bishop c5, this is called the Dubov Tarrasch. But if you play bishop e7, this is known to be pretty comfortable for white. I've played this multiple times. Castle, castle, bishop g5. This is lots of ideas. This was a main, a lot of theoretical debate in 70s, 80s here. But white is doing amazing here. A very comfortable position. So this was the main debate. The other way you can play is to play knight c3, c5, takes, and then cd is more trendy, ed5 is more traditional. So here a sacrifice line goes something like this. You play queen f4 check before taking. The logic is that after bishop d7, queen takes, queen d5, knight c6, knight f6, gaining with tempo. You claim that white is a bit underdeveloped. So this was a very popular line. This was a very popular line. Knight f6, c4. This is c5 move. Threw Pragyananda off because he was probably not well prepared for that. And yeah, I would expect him not to be. I claimed that he would go for cd5. He eventually did. And Hikaru went for cd4. This was his preparation. And because if you take with the knight, then of course e4 is good for white. This would be really bad. You gain full center, you play knight c3. This is all good. And if you take with the queen, then you lose a tempo with knight c3. So this is bad opening. So Hikaru was more or less forced to take here, which is reasonable. Queen d4, queen d5, knight c3. This I think Pragyananda is probably back into preparation because I've seen this position before. Takes, and yeah, white has a slight edge because white is more developed. White is threatening knight b5, knight c7, g3, gain full control over this diagonal. So of course a slight edge, but nothing too special. a6 by Hikaru, the best move, stopping knight b5. Now Pragyananda should go for g3, which he did. e5 perfect, knight b3 perfect, knight c6 perfect, bishop g2 good. a5, knight b5 is a bit too early. Like a5 was Hikaru's preparation, enticing knight b5, and Pragyananda went straight into it. He took some time, but he did not find anything better. Bishop b4 check, excellent move. Hikaru has equalized actually. King e7, and there is no knight c7. So this was the problem with knight b5. What you should have done is actually, let me think. What should you have done? Bishop e3. Yes. So now you see a4 is a threat. You have to play bishop e3, and a4 is met with knight c5 or knight d2. Both are possible. Knight c5 a3 though, so I'm not too sure. Okay, bishop knight d2 to go knight c4, and you don't block your bishop, so that's an idea. But okay, bishop e3 is one move. Trying to think, you have to do something about a4. Playing a4 yourself is not good because you allow knight b4. This is bad. Knight c2 is annoying. So I would not do that. But also you leave this b3 knight weak. So bishop e3 is also very great. The other idea is to play knight c6, bishop g2 a5. Maybe the move is knight a4 to go knight b6. That seems to have some logic. Bishop b4, bishop d2, and at least white can try for something. Yeah, Hikaru up on the clock. Yes, is playing Slav in intermediate level. Yeah, you can play Slav, but King e7 loses castling. Queens are not on the board. Queens are not on the board. Losing castling rights is more of a disadvantage if queens are on the board. But here, since the queens are not on the board, in the endgame you want your king towards coming to the center. Playing King e7 is perfectly fine. Don't follow opening principles in a very very hard what's the word for it, in a very strict way. Try to use logic. Why is castling good? Castling provides king safety. If you play King e7 here, are you losing king safety? Not in this position. In some other position, maybe yes. So if you're not doing it here, play it. Play King e7. What's the problem? So Pragyananda has already somewhat lost advantage after knight b5. Hikaru doesn't have any problems after King e7. Well, minor problems. Minor problems. Like I could play rook c1, bishop d7, and yes, I have a slight advantage because of this bishop. So minor problems, but nothing he can't solve. I could play castle, bishop d2, knight d2. Of course, it's easier to play for white than it is for black. But I mean, Hikaru can very well defend this position. For Hikaru, not many problems, especially if he's prepared. Especially if he's prepared. But yeah, Bishop D2, King E7. It's yeah, question. Hi Shivam, welcome to the chat. Literal manner suits. Yeah, literal manner. Yeah, principled manner or literal manner, whatever you want to call it. Or you could also say if you strictly follow the principles without any exception. Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, there is a chess rule which says any chess rule can be broken. So, yes. It all applies to the concrete positions. Playing Slav in intermediate level is completely fine. Slav is a very solid opening. So that's okay. I played Slav when I was 1600. I played a little bit of Slav. Let's switch to Alireza, then Gukesh quickly. Yeah, oh, sorry. Yeah, I was about to give overview of all the games. Yeah, forgot. Sometimes I become too deep into my thoughts. I go too deep into a position. I forget there is other stuff to be looked at. Where are we? Alireza. Okay, Alireza has actually transposed into some sort of mainstream line. So we were saying that choice was a little bit dubious, which it is. I still stand by it. Picks with the knight, bishop e2, standard stuff, d5, knight d2, queen d6. I mean, no major problems for Nijat as well. c4, e5, Nijat. I mean, it's a pretty comfortable position for black as well. Nothing special going on here. Like, black can control the center, bishop b2, put a rook on d8, no problems. Play bishop f5, put this bishop somewhere, the other rook to c8. Nothing special. Okay, cd5 you have to deal a little bit with knight c4. So you can take with the knight c4, queen e7, all good. Literally nothing more to say here. The Gukesh one. Okay, Gukesh has got a Carlsberg structure. Yes, this is nice. This is instructive. So Gukesh has taken and played bishop g5. So this goes into a little bit of Ragozin if black plays bishop b4. That would be Ragozin, which Gukesh plays as black. So Gukesh would be well aware of that position. So this guy Fabiano could not go for that. He had to go for the Carlsberg structure. And Gukesh is back into opening territory. Gukesh for sure knows this. Everyone knows Carlsberg on their level. Knight h5 is this try by Fabiano to gain the light square bishop early on, but weakening his king a little bit. So it's a try. It's a try. Knight b6 is good. In fact, I prepared it once. I never got to play it. I prepared this line as black. Offers white a slight edge, but white has to make good moves. Castle b4 is very good. So we were discussing plans of Carlsberg because someone asked for ideas in Queen's Gambit Decline. You have 3 versus 4 here. And one very common plan here is to go for the minority attack to weaken the structure by playing b4, b5. You play b4, you play b5. You try to loosen the grip on this pawn, in which case this pawn would be isolated. One good thing in white's favor is that this bishop is staring at a brick wall. It's blunted by the pawn on d4. In these sort of positions, bishop belongs on e7 to take care on this side of the board. The best square is e7 or d6. g7 is a little bit inferior. So queen e7, rook b1, bishop e6, a4, knight d7, and now after a5, Gukesh is dominating. Positional sense, in a positional sense. So I think that's the... Oh, okay, you have exam tomorrow at 12. You'll sleep and come back at 3. Yeah, no worries, no worries. All the best, Candy Sharpener. Indeed, indeed, indeed. It's getting just too late for intro. What do you mean? How do you study for exams and balance streaming? So I don't. I study from 9 a.m. onwards. So 9 a.m. till like however much I can. So I study for 6-7 hours, maybe more. Yeah, so study for 6 7 hours, maybe more, and then in the evening 7:45 I am back to chess for streaming for you guys. The plan is usually for me to stream for an hour and a half, but you guys give me so much engagement on the chat that I end up streaming for longer. I'm not a genius yet, no, I'm not a genius. Just a hard worker. But yeah, that's what I do. It's hard to prepare for university exams. Like, content gets really hard. Well, A5, and this is a great position for Gukesh, at least like from white. This is something you can expect. Very risk free. You have a slight edge. Gukesh knows positional play, so can't really complain. Even though Gukesh lacks the bishop pair, the bishop on g7 is blunted. And bishop on e6 doesn't do as much as well. So Gukesh has a free hand on the queen side. So someone asked why e1 instead of rook fe1. Yeah, let me explain that. The reason you play rook ab1 is that sometimes this rook goes to e1 to play e4. Or sometimes this knight goes to e5 to play f4, in which case you are better off having this rook on f1. In this position, knight e5 is not possible because there are two pieces guarding the e5 pawn. But in the future, it's a possibility. So that's why you put this rook here, because the other rook can go to e1. That's the idea. a5 by... Why not knight c4 instead of knight d7? Let's see. A5 is a great move by Gukesh. It stops knight b6. So black was trying to plant this knight to c4 in some case, which Gukesh has now stopped. And he can also play a6, b6, b5 in at some point, which would in this pawn. Or he could just leave this pawn weakened on c6. They're all possibilities. Or you could play knight a4, knight c5, which has also been seen before. Question was why not knight c4? Yeah, that's a great question. Let's think about this one. Uh, Actually, now that black has played knight d7, that's an intention that you don't want to play knight c4. So a5 doesn't actually stop knight b6 because black wasn't planning to do anyway. A good question is why not here? At first sight, it seems okay. But since you're not threatening b5, right? No. Yeah, it's a good question. You're threatening knight a3. And yeah, okay, if I play queen e2, you have knight d6. This is the best square for the knight. So that's great. That means I have to take. I don't have any other option. And I have to assess this position. So evaluation of knight c4 depends on this position. The question is, does white have something here or not? If white does have something, then Caruana should not go for it, else he should go for it. And by something, I mean, do you have b5 or e4? E4 is not good. I think there is g4. Yeah, g4 loses this pawn. So b5, what do we think about this one? Doesn't Indian thinks this is completely fine for black, and I'm not in a big disagreement there. I could play rook d8 and we can have double pawns, but they prevent d5. So in this case, double pawns are okay. If I play rook d1, then probably bishop g4, right? Pinning the knight. Yeah, Caruana could have very well gone for the knight c4 idea. I'm not exactly sure why he didn't go for it. Seems good to me. How do you know where is a good square to plant a piece? And should you try to keep the piece there if you can? Yes. Yes. So, the question that you just asked is very similar to a question I asked to a grandmaster. The question I asked to a grandmaster was, how do you become better at evaluating positions? And the answer he gave to me is the same answer to your question. You see many positions, and over time you build a reservoir of knowledge, a reservoir of positions in your head. And that reservoir of positions helps you know that in those certain games, in a similar pawn structure, these pieces belong there. So in this similar structure again, these pieces belong here. The knight belongs on d6, the bishop belongs on e7. You eventually figure that out by analyzing more and more positions and building that reservoir of positions in your head. And this is exactly the same answer to the question, how do you become better at evaluating positions? So I can provide a more practical evaluation to a positions than what Engine would. So Engine might think position is completely better for white, but the moves are so hard to find that it might seem like the position is about equal or dynamically equal. So the answer to your question is that build a reservoir of positions and know where pieces belong. Fabiano is very well capable of assessing that these pawns have dynamic compensation. So the two bishops provide enough activity to compensate for the long-term weakness of these pawns. That's the point. But it could very well be the case that he did not like the double pawns. Yes, I am not in disagreement with you. Could very well be the case. However, he probably knows it's not too bad. But yeah, black has to be more precise than white, no? White's moves are not that difficult, but black's moves are. So maybe that's what the reason was. What's the future for knight d7? We are yet to figure that out. Seriously, I don't know. So what has happened in the... Let's refresh to see what has happened. You really have to put this knight on d6. The knight belongs on d6 in this position. So how do you maneuver this knight from d7? One way to maneuver was this one, or the other way it was to maneuver this way. So what does knight d7 do? I'm not exactly sure. Even knight c8 is probably better than knight d7, in my opinion, unless there is b5. Let me check. Okay, b5 here works well. But there is c5. And it opens up the scope for this bishop. So knight c8 is good as well, even though it's not on the first lines of Engine. So this is what you get to know from experience. Engine didn't show knight c8, but I know a move like this is popular or possible. This is what you gain from experience. Let me go back there. Yeah, let me... I am not a big fan of Fabiano's position. It's okay, but nothing special. I don't know what he should do. Like, it seems like already Gukesh is slowly controlling lots of important squares. He is indeed. He is indeed. One thing I was trying to figure out. No. Okay. This is an instructive concept as well. Why do you think black can fortress with a6? Why is this not just a good idea? Make a fortress. Say that nothing goes on here anymore and you have the two bishops on this side. Why not this? What's so wrong with this? Chess.com is really annoying me today. They got this brightness issue which they got to figure out. Yeah, let's think. Tell me, why do you think Fabiano cannot just make a fortress and sit there for the whole game? What is so wrong with this? Maybe he'll put a pawn on f5, play a6. Is that not a fortress? What do you guys think? So someone could claim that you could put a pawn on f5 and then it's basically a fortress. Like someone could claim. I disagree. But why do you think it's possible or not possible? Huh. B7 pawn becomes weakness and gives license to launch kingside attack as Fabi's king is weak. Fabi should play on the queen side. Yeah, very close to being perfect. Yeah. Limited movement for bishops as well. That's correct as well. That's correct as well. But essentially, you give me a free hand here. So position. Let's make a few moves. Knight a5. Let's try this. Okay. Knight c5. How to defend the pawn? One way is to play rook b8. If you take, then you give me an open file. Probably not what you want. So let's say rook b8. Now it seems like I don't have the e4 pawn break. So at first sight it looks like a fortress. It's not exactly the case. Let's make a move like rook e1. So this is a sort of a prophylactic move, stops any sort of f4. Black could play queen f7. I could play a move like queen c3. And let's say black just holds. Black just waits. Queen here. I now have knight e5. And it seems like I'm starting to build some pressure here. One way you could argue is that, let's say, you take with the knight, you preserve the bishop pair, and then you claim this is still a fortress. Not exactly the case again. Bishop is not the best blockader of passed pawns. The knight is. You could play bishop f7. Well, then in that case the pawn even hangs. Or I could first play f4. I solidify. I could play king h2, move the rook to h1, launch pressure here. I have pressure here, pressure here. So, like, even after g4, the pawn hangs, so you can't do that. But you could play bishop g6, for example. In this case, I have a move like g4. So essentially, you will never be able to make a fortress. Even though optically it looks like a fortress, it never really is. White can slowly play knight h2, f3 and e4. In a good scenario, yes. But knight on h2 doesn't control the center, so it might be difficult to achieve. If you want to do that f3, e4, better off doing that from knight on d2 rather than h2. If you play knight h2, you're probably trying to play g4 instead of e4. You want to play e4, go with knight d2. The d2 knight puts pressure on the e4 square, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. So this seems to be okay for Gukesh. That's a good scenario. I mean, Vidit has not gotten much. He's played the a4 idea as suggested by Isomaniac. Isomaniac has upped his game. Isomaniac is in shape. Isomaniac, you have been suggesting some good ideas in the chat as well. Huge improvement over the last streams. What's the secret? What's the secret, Isomaniac? Seems like your game is improving. What's the reason? I'm really curious. Even Ram seemed to be in shape. Ram was suggesting some logical ideas. Watching my stream. Oh, that's very kind of you. Ram was suggesting good things. Who else was there on the chat? Candy shop owner. Oh, he's gone. He isn't he? He's got that exams thing. Yeah. Teshal is still there in the chat? No. He was asking me the Slav thing. Maybe he's gone. Just listening, yeah. Just listening. Wow. Wow. Great to see. Great to see. Trying to find weaknesses. Absolutely. You should always look for weaknesses in your opponent's camp. And whenever your opponent plays a move, first ask yourself, why did he play that? Me, I don't have anything to say. Yeah, Goli, you or Rohit, you didn't. You asked a good question. No, Rook B1 instead of Rook FB1 was a very good question. You should be asking that question. Burnt a lot of time. You made some comments. Yeah, you talked a bit more about trading with me than chess, but okay. You asked a great question though. You asked a great question about Rook FB1 thing. What's the plan for VD? He doesn't have. Let's see. Let's see your opinion, and then I'll tell you mine. Try to think about where white should place pieces. Where do all the pieces belong? Some pieces may belong just where they are standing. Just where they are standing. So, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts, and then I'll let you know mine. You have to be a bit more specific. Bit more specific. Like, give me some moves, like queen side. Someone could say king side. Bishop d3, h5, h6. You mean h4, h5? You mean h4, h5 or no? H4 is a possibility. You could always play h4 to gain more space. H4 is an idea. The question we should be asking ourselves is really the knight on e3 is standing perfectly. Where does the bishop on f1 belong? The question we should be asking ourselves is where does the bishop on f1 belong? Now you might think it belongs on d3. I have a feeling it belongs on this diagonal. So I am even looking to play moves like bishop e2, bishop f3 or g3, bishop g2. I think the bishop belongs on this diagonal. Unless I can really make something else concretely work. So this knight is not developed, right? So one move I can consider is bishop b5. If not, I can consider bishop e2 and try to put my bishop here. This is a weakened diagonal, which with more weakened squares. I also have to time a3 a5 correctly. So let's say I try to play bishop b5. I stop knight from going anywhere. If you play knight here, my bishop stands very nicely on this diagonal. Again, same thing. But then if you play a move like, I don't know, f5 or c6, which one? Let's say you play c6. Then I can claim that bishop e2 is now probably the right time. Or bishop d3 to go bishop e4, that's also possible. And if you play d5, you have shut down your bishop. So in that sense, I could play bishop d3 to go bishop e4 in the future. That's a plan. But if you really think, if your logic is that bishop belongs on this diagonal, then that's a little bit incorrect. If your logic is that the bishop can potentially transfer to this diagonal, then it's correct. So the question is, can we play bishop b5 or not? That's what we have to figure out. It's a good question. No, it stops this knight from getting out. Black could try f5 as well. And then there is g3. And if the knight goes back, then we have this. And if c6, bishop d3 or bishop e2, no, both are possible. Always hard to take a decision between these two. But yeah, I mean, but now we have a weakness on f5, so even bishop d3 is fine. Bishop b5 is a practical try, I think. I don't know. I'm not certain that bishop belongs on d3. I think it belongs on the other diagonal. The h1a diagonal. Why not launch kingside attack as white? White should trade its knight for any bishop and then grind the position. The more pieces you isomania, the thing is, more pieces you trade, slow chances to win this queenless middle game, because white has long-term weaknesses, not black. So white is looking for dynamic play. White is looking for activity, and you get activity if you keep pieces on the board. Rook left with a bishop h3 against Nepo to control the knight. Yeah, it probably does. Yeah. Rook left with a4, bishop b3. Wait, a4, bishop b3? Oh, rook b3, you probably mean. I can't get my rook to b3. That's the problem right now. The bishop stands on e6. But even if I were to get the rook on b3, where do I want to transfer it? Rook lifts work when I'm attacking the king side. Right now, I'm not attacking the king side. I'm playing on the queen side. But at least you're starting to consider rook lifts in positions. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. Bishop b5, even I'm struggling to see what's the best way. Let me flip the board to see if I can see something more precisely. So I'm trying to equalize as black, like completely equalize. So I'll be trying some moves. Okay, the first move which I want to try is d5. Can I play d5? Apparently not. This is a blunder, of course. Yeah, so can't play d5. Knight d5. If bishop c1, there is knight e7 check. Or even knight takes c7. Both are possible. So can't play d5. I really want to achieve d5. Okay. If I play c6, I'm creating some weaknesses. If I play a6, I am also creating some weaknesses. So can I play? Can I play? Just trying to think, how can I achieve d5 c6 properly? Like if I can achieve d5, c6, knight d7 and a5, you have nothing. Absolutely nothing. But there are four moves. And Vidit is not allowing me that. It's a question how to achieve all that. Um Not pretty clear. Okay, let's try a6. Bishop d3. Okay. And now let's try knight c6. You can't play d5 because I have takes. So this is my try. So let's say you short castle. Natural move. And then I play knight e7 to play d5. Is this better? Okay, you can play f4. Bishop f6. Maybe f5. Some of you might want to try f5. Bishop d7, I attack a4. And it seems to me this is the best way to play. a6, rook d8. A6 is correct. I don't know about rook d8. Let me try rook d8. So a6, bishop d3, rook d8. Maybe you mean rook e8 to control the file. I think you meant e8. This is possible. It's possible. It's just I think knight c7, knight e7, knight c6, knight e7 is more consistent with stopping d5 or playing d5 yourself. So I think that's is more appealing to me. But I mean, you could insert rook e8. Nothing too wrong with it. You probably have to insert a6 to kick this bishop out. But yeah, bishop b5 is a good practical try by Vidit to gain a slight edge. I would play bishop b5 if I saw this. Else I would probably play bishop e2 or g3. Let's see if there have been updates. Vidit goes for c4. Well, Vidit saw that if knight d7, trap the bishop with d5, or at least it would seem like it. And if you play knight c6, there is d5 again, forking the two pieces. And if you play knight a6, there is, yeah, okay, knight a6, you probably have c5. The bishop gets activated. So this is what Vidit is trying to do. The only problem which appears to be is that there is bishop d7 attacking the pawn. And if you play a5, knight c6, I think works pretty good. You attack d4, you attack a5, and black has no problems. If on the other hand you play knight d5, trying to attack c7, then bishop d8 saves white, saves black. And after rook a1, there is c6. And eventually, white's pieces are not developed, so white does not have any advantage. Let me fix the thing for you guys. I mean, chess.com has so much money, but they can't fix a simple bug. Here, nothing special. I mean, white still has a slight edge trying to go c4 attacking e5. Bishop puts pressure here. Slight edge, but yet to think concrete. Engine says a slight edge for... Engine says about equal, but trust me, practically more pleasant to play as white. More pleasant to play as white. Okay, guys. I wanted to ask you one question. When you are going to... Are you looking... When you're going to YouTube for chess, are you looking more towards education side or more towards entertainment side? So for example, how much do you like to watch Gotham? Because he likes to provide entertainment. So would you prefer like a YouTube channel like St. Louis Chess Club, which provides more education, or would you prefer someone like Gotham? Does white really need to castle here? The bishop is danger here, which black can neutralize. We don't have a bishop pair here. Do you mean the other game? One of the other games? Uh, which game are you referring to? I'm not sure which game you're referring to. Here, both sides have a bishop pair. Not entirely sure what you're talking about. But yeah, entertainment accompanied by education. Yeah, it's hard to balance both. Yeah, the thing is, the more you try to go towards instructive chess, the less entertainment it becomes. And the thing is, I don't know the proportion of people who are seeking entertainment versus who are seeking education. So I don't know how to style my videos. But yeah, so okay, I get your point. I get your point. Like others can also provide their opinion. Because if you see the best educational videos, like which I have seen on a channel, yeah, Chessbase India or Agadmeter, yeah, Agadmeter fell off a little bit, but Chessbase India's commentary is really good. Let's hope I am able to collab with them in the future. That would be awesome. Peter Leko is good at commentary. Tanya Sachdev, I think it's a bit overrated. Uh, I can say that, can't I? Yeah. Peter Leko is good. Even Yasser is amazing at commentary. Yasser Sirwan. So it would be fun to collaborate with one of these guys. Peter Leko is good. Yeah, Peter Leko has a lot of knowledge. Lot of knowledge. Have you seen Yasser? Yasser Sirwan. He's good as well. Exactly because of the I am at your video. What do you mean? I am at your video or I am at your video? Oh, that's why you are. Okay, you agree with me. Yeah, Tanya is overrated. Yeah. They've got to have like someone who looks reasonably good looking on the stream to keep the retention. So that's why you see even FIDE trying to hire female reporters, for example. Because it's just a retention tactic. Like if you have a pretty woman taking interviews versus you have some let's say an average looking guy, who are you more likely to watch? Just a retention tactic. And like you'll see like no, I think like yeah. No, Jovanka was good. Jovanka's good. Jovanka is actually a strong player. So yeah, nothing against Jovanka. But sometimes they'll just like some streamers would bring out some random women. Tanya's not random. I'm not talking about her, but like I've seen some YouTubers bringing. No, I'm not saying Tanya's bad. I think she's overrated. I think you guys are giving her way too much credit. She's still good. Nothing against her. But like compared to Peter Leko, if you're purely talking about commentary, she's even I'm not as good, right? Like if you are comparing to Peter Leko. At times I've seen her giving some really great ideas. So yeah. But I don't know. I can't watch her in every commentary. It's just no. But yeah, I mean, Chess Base India is doing a great job. Like Sagar Shah really knows how to commentate. Bring Leko, I'll try. I'll try. Sagar Shah really knows how to commentate. Sagar Shah is one hell of a commentator. Yeah, yeah. Bring Leko. I'll try, mate. This channel, like you guys would have to subscribe, more subscribers, and then we can get there. You know, Leko was the coach of Vincent Kamer. You guys know that or no? Rook D8, I mean, I still don't know what Caruana is trying to do, honestly. Okay, I see one idea. I probably see one idea that if I play knight c5, then knight c5, he wants rook d7. This is what I can see. And he wants to guard the pawn this way, which is much better than guarding the pawn on b8. If you guard the pawn with b8, you are always worried about bishop takes a6 tactics. This is still good for white, but like after bishop f5 playing g4, this is still great for white. But at least the rook's position is a bit better. Still great for white though. That's the only idea I can see behind rook d8. There is nothing else. And knight c5 is a pretty playable move for white. The other move which Indian suggests is, which I don't completely understand, is king h2. Indian says play king h2. I don't understand it. Now the evaluation drops down. He says put rook h1, king g1, but there's a pawn on h6. I'm not sure about this one. I would probably play knight c5 or rook e1. That would be my choice. Why aren't you making videos on recap of game 11? Because I'm live streaming. Why? I mean, come on. Like, if I'm live streaming and then I'm making. Yeah, sure. I'll ask you some questions for sure. I was asking it in the. Yeah, no, I'll definitely ask. Any advice during lean patches? Um, Not too sure. No. Just last week you were getting 30 to 36 in Puzzle Rush and spotting ideas, but this week I can get to 25 and blending every three moves. That has not, if you were solving Puzzle Rush regularly, that has not to do with chess. That has to do with your regular life. You probably are either not getting enough sleep. You are probably, well, you if you're watching my stream right now, you're probably not getting enough sleep. And also, you probably are doing other work besides chess, which is putting more stress on your brain. Thus, has nothing to do with chess. It has external factors. So sort that out. Okay. So let's go to other games and let me ask you guys some questions. Okay. Nothing that I can ask here, but let's see if this one has happened. Okay, I asked you the question about there only. And okay, rook c1. Okay, let's okay, this is a good situation. Try to equalize, or at least try to find the best move for black here. I'll flip the board for your convenience. This bishop is struggling to get activated because the b7 pawn hangs. So how would black try to, oh, black just answered my question. Okay, try to figure out what the idea of knight e8 is. I was hoping you guys would tell me this move, but Nijat just found it. What's the idea of knight e8? If you can get 30 to 36 and knight d6, yeah, I mean, it's a typo, I understand. But what does knight d6 achieve? Guys, you guys got to be more precise with your notation. Like, yeah, so Rama, knight d6, not. But what's the plan with knight d6? What does it actually achieve? Defends the pawn, yes, and also gets rid of white's strong bishop on d4. That's the idea. So now that you, okay, the next question is to you. Now that you see that black wants white to take here, then black takes knight on d6, defends the pawn, gets this bishop out. What do you think white should play? Let's flip the board again. How should Alireza respond to this? Like, if Alireza's fighting for advantage, how to get that? This is becoming advanced because even I would have to think. But it's still a good learning opportunity. How to fight for a slight edge. In the meantime, do you guys mind if I get some water? Knight c4 would isolate my pawn, no? Like bishop takes d4. That would isolate my pawn. And isolated pawn without lot of minor pieces. Well, you could make an argument that isolated pawn isn't too bad in this situation. Let's think. Let's think. Knight c4, bishop. No, knight c4 is a blunder. There is e5, right? Pinning the bishop. The isolated pawn would not be that bad, but e5 loses the queen. So does knight e4, e5. Blind spot there, isn't there? There is e5. Yeah, if you play either knight to e4. So, gotta be a bit careful when you have black's rook and white's queen on the same file. Try to find something different. Seems like something has been played. No, nothing yet. Bishop e4, you're giving me one move. If you're giving me something, give me a move and try to write the idea. Something, so that I know your thought process. If I don't know your thought process, I can't correct you. In the meanwhile, I'll get some you guys. Okay, so I'm back. So your idea is to play bishop e4, queen f3. But then don't you get hit with knight d6? And when black plays knight d6, he attacks your bishop and you can't gain the pawn on b7. So that plan fails. Rook c5 is an option by Alireza, which he tried, trying to gain more attack this way, improving the position of his rook. This is a good idea. He can, and he poses a question to the queen. Where does the queen go? Or can black play e5? Can black play e5? Let's see. I'll answer that one now. Can black play e5 or not? Or is there some tactical pitfalls? Are there some tactical pitfalls? What's Alireza's intention after e5? Let's see. Let's see. Until then, feel free to ask him any other questions. Yeah, like on the commentary in general, chess improvement, chess news, anything. Also, I was thinking to make analysis of openings. Like someone asked for opening analysis videos. Are you guys fine with that, or do you want? Is there a demand for any other thing? If you are fine with the opening videos, which opening? Okay, so still waiting for the answer on the question. Are we going for e5 or no? As black. What do you mean, which is easy to remember? Okay, that's possible, Isomaniac. Well, e5 played on the board happens to be a little bit of an error. White has knight c4 and puts a lot of pressure on e5. It might seem like black has a pin, so white can't play knight c4. Turns out tactically he can. So this was a very hard position. I wasn't expecting you to get the answer right. Very hard position, but 4 puts a lot of pressure on e5. And if you were to play queen e6, then there is knight takes e5, knight takes e5, rook takes e5. And if you play. Actually, how do you defend after knight c4? If you play knight c7, can I not still take? You could try knight e6, attacking here and here. And then I have the move bishop g4, queen f6, bishop takes e6. So in this case, I get rid of all your attackers. So e5 is an error. Knight c4 is very annoying. You're trying to take the pawn. So one question you might ask yourself is, you might ask yourselves, why not f6 after knight c4? What's so wrong with f6 after knight c4? Knight c6, what's wrong? Try to figure that out. Alireza has done some good calculation. Knight c4, f6. That's the task. Alireza moves look free flowing. Yes, Nijat is stuck. Yes, indeed, he is. So seems like Alireza's this line paid off. But also Nijat is psychologically disturbed. BD5 check is just a check. Bishop D5, Bishop E6. And this was the point of me giving you this position because I knew you guys were going to go for the most obvious check. Although Bishop D5, Bishop E6, you probably have G4. But Bishop D5, King H8. Bishop G4, Ram, you lose the bishop, right? Queen takes G4. There is a bishop standing on C8. G4 at least makes more sense than bishop G4, but you have something even better. Something really cool. Not an easy move to spot, but it's possible. If bishop d5 check, which at first sight seems very reasonable, there is king h8. Maybe king f8 is better, maybe not, I don't know, but at least one of the moves is fine. e4 right now or after bishop d5 check? I'm assuming after bishop d5 check. Bishop d5 check, king moves e4. It's a very playable way, it's not wrong actually. Very playable way. Yeah, there happens to be a better move than e4. g4 is still okay, but the best move is rook d5. H8, e4, queen d7. Still, yeah, nothing wrong with it. Bishop b2, game goes on. b6, yeah, knight e3, game goes on. The best move is rook d5. This is actually quite crushing. Because if you take, which seems very natural, I take king h8, and now a move like bishop c5 is essentially, black cannot even get knight d6, so how to protect this pawn? If you play a move like rook b8, then a7 hangs. And if you play knight c7, then knight d6, knight f7. So, like, there are countless threats here, and now this bishop is inactive, this knight is inactive, this bishop is inactive, this rook is inactive. So this is awesome. But what about bishop e6? Why not simply develop the bishop? This is where Isomaniac, your move comes in, or I think Ram's move. One of you suggested e4. Yeah, Isomaniac. Your move comes in, which is e4. Queen has to move. Okay, let's say queen moves to g5. Bishop e3. Queen moves to h4. The rook hangs. As simple as that. So you actually win after bishop e6 quite convincingly with e4. And this is a very nice tactic. Queen g5, bishop e3, rook hangs. So hopefully the explanation was convincing to why rook d5 is the best move. Great. Great. Happens to be the case, it's like a Petrosian move which paralyzes your opponent. Bishop d5 check keeps the game going but does not, still gives you a slight paralyze your opponent. You want to paralyze, play rook d5. Okay. With that, how long have you guys been playing chess for? Like, I know about some of you, but the others who haven't mentioned it before. How long have you guys been playing chess for? And how did you learn chess? Or like, how do you learn chess now? Very curious to know. Because I learned chess mainly through books. I read a lot of books. What did you guys do? Let me know. Until then, I'll move on to a different game. Pragg Nakamura seems like Pragg hasn't got much. Rook a6 was a great move, stopping knight b6. And also, if bishop takes, you can take with the rook. Fantastic move by Nakamura. Pretty solid. I mean, I don't know how to gain more advantage for Pragyananda. He's done enough already. Like, he's put his pieces onto best squares and still he doesn't have anything. You used to play at a club when you were really young, but not properly. I got back in a little earlier this year. Okay, okay. Great, great. You know what the situation is called when your pieces are on their best squares, but still there is no concrete threat or there is no way to, let's say, gain advantage. Do you know what's the technical name for the situation? Any ideas? I don't expect you to know, but I would be very impressed if you know. When your pieces reach the best squares, but still no advantage. No, it's not called a draw. It's not called a draw. But great joke there. Ah, okay. Okay. It's not called a draw. It's I'll wait like 10-20 more seconds for a reply, then I'll let you know what it's called. Okay. Guessing none of you know. It's called reaching the trend. You say white pieces have reached the trend. This is the technical name. This is the technical phrase or name, whatever you call it. Trend. You so now the question which arises is, how did I know this? It's in the book What It Takes to Become a Master. The book What It Takes to Become a Master by Andrew Soltis. It's in there. Yes, yeah, that's the book for sure. Unless I'm unless my memory is failing me. But yeah, 90% sure, 95% sure. It's in that book. So yeah, okay. To some of you guys, I would say if you are like you should get a training partner and train, and maybe a little bit of competition helps improvement. So if there is a friend of yours who plays chess and you guys are a bit competitive, that would help you improve. But if it's just like a hobby to you, then you can just play and hope for the best. So really depends on how serious you are about chess. And this is what I wanted to know, like what the kind of content I make depends on what kind of audience is watching. Are they serious players? Are they playing for hobby? What's the situation? Yeah, we discussed Fabiano's F5. No, even though it's not the engine suggestion, I knew people could go for these type of things. So essentially, Fabiano's trying to create a fortress, and this one is not easy to break because there is no knight anymore. This knight has been traded. Little bit harder to create, a little bit harder to break the fortress now. So at least Fabiano has done this one good thing. Also, this bishop will go to c8. So yeah, very hard for Gukesh to break through. Fabiano has done something right here. Still some advantage for Gukesh, but hard to break through now. I told you the f5 idea exists. And bishop c8, put the bishop here. That's really the plan. The thing is, you can't win with one weakness. The principle of two weaknesses says you need two weaknesses. One weakness is b7, f5 can't yet be called a weakness. It's not yet a weakness. So how to do something? One idea could be to try queen c3 and knight e5 and f4. That's one idea I can see. So my choice would probably be queen c3 here. Engine says rook b6. I like queen c3 more. This would be my choice. I would try to plant a knight here. So let's say you play bishop c8, stopping knight e5. In this case, I have to wait. I can still play knight e5. Yeah, I can. Yeah, this essentially is my plan. Queen c3, knight e5. I don't see another way to make progress. H5 and G4 both are too committal because H5 leaves G5 weak and G4 leaves F5 weak. So both are very committal. I would not play either of them. Just because it gives a tempo on the knight doesn't mean it's good. If you at some point you allow me the F3 break, and I'm looking for pawn breaks, so you should not play G4. But Queen C3 knight E5 is the only plan I can see for white. I don't see any other plan. Maybe Gukesh will surprise me. Who knows? There is another plan, but which is more complicated and it will take some time to achieve. And this is what I know from experience. So like you could place the bishop on e2, bring the knight to d3 and then play f4 to gain knight e5 again. It's a plan. It's more complicated and probably more difficult to achieve, but it's a plan. I'm just giving you guys some ideas. I'll repeat: bishop e2, knight e1, knight d3, and f4. It's an idea. Yeah. Isomaniac, how long have you been playing chess for? Did you already tell me that? Might have forgotten. Might have forgotten. Remind me again. Because sometimes I'm just reading the chat, I don't remember who it was by. Yeah. Great. And yeah, all the viewers who are not in the chat or in the chat, I mean, if you're in the chat, you've already subscribed, but the other viewers, please subscribe so that this channel can get a boost by the algorithm. I would sincerely appreciate that. And if you can engage in the chat, that's very pleasing as well. So, any way you can support the channel, that would be awesome. 2 years. Okay, you started playing since lockdown. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Nice. Do you plan to compete in tournaments like federated tournaments, or do you just plan to play online for a while? Nothing special going on in this game for now. Let's look at. Oh, guys, by the way, if Gukesh wins this one, chances for Fabiano to win the tournament are practically over. Because Gukesh would be ahead of Fabiano by 1.5 points. And to regain a lead of 1.5 points within 3 rounds is impossible. Like, practically. At this level, practically impossible. So, if Gukesh wins, Fabiano's out of the race. So, Fabiano has to do anything in his power not to lose this game. If Gukesh loses, which is not going to happen, if Gukesh loses this one, he's still in the race, but Fabiano's out. And seems like Nijat is in trouble. Rook d5 found by Alireza. And believe it or not, it's plus 3.6 for white. Plus 3.6. Nijat is lost within 17 moves. A 26-32 grandmaster lost within 16 moves. So Alireza's opening preparation really paid off. I mean, even though it was not an opening preparation, it still paid off. Whatever. Yeah, not bad, not bad, not bad. Also curious, which other YouTube channels you guys like, chess wise? Like, I know you guys like ChessBase India. Who doesn't? You probably like Agad Mater. Who else? Who else? I could not understand. Do you guys like Gotham or no? I could not understand what the consensus was. Yeah. Playing chess as a hobby. I'm a working professional. I would love to spread chess wherever if it's possible. Ah, okay, nice, nice, Isomaniac. I see you. I see you. Not bad, not bad. Great, great. But yeah, others in the yeah. Feel oh yeah, the can. I was big fan, sir. Look who's in the chat. It's Ansh Bhargava. The guys, this is like the OG of the OGs. Ansh Bhargava in the chat. Rook d5. Trouble for Abasov seems like. Huge trouble. Bishop d5. Don't enjoy Gotham chess. Yeah, neither do I anymore. Like, it was good in 2018, not anymore. I mean, well, one thing is he doesn't target my the level players of my level. He targets more of beginner to intermediates. So I can see why you don't like him. Yeah, that's one reason. So let's recap this position for a second. Bishop d8, and we said that bishop c5, it is really hard for black to get out the pieces. Knight c7 is impossible. There is knight d6, knight f7, and b6 is not possible. The rook hangs, and bishop d7 is not possible because the pawn hangs. So really, black is in one sense paralyzed. Let me fix this thing. So yeah, this was essentially the recap of the position. Yeah, big fan, sir. Yeah, no, he knows me personally for a very long time. Ansh Bhargava. No, we've known each other for a very long time now. So thought he would be asleep by now. He's still awake. This guy. Bishop c5. Yeah, let's look at the other games for a second. Oh, actually, one more question. Have you guys? Do you guys? No, Hikaru's good. Hikaru's good. Hikaru's good. No, no disagreement there. I watch Hikaru as well. In fact, it's one of the only YouTube channels, chess YouTube channels I watch. Hikaru. No ways. Seriously, Bhargava. Actually, like right now, you're joking. Hikaru's fun. Yeah, no. What about this new guy Banzea? Banzea's becoming popular. What do you think about this guy Banzea? If you don't know him, that's fine as well. But Alex Banzea, 93. Yeah, I mean Pragyananda hasn't got. Well, Hikaru's actually taking over because 93 is signaling that you do not have any advantage in the position because this knight is completely dominated by the bishop. So knight e3 is essentially trying to achieve rook d1 but nothing more. And so we can claim that Pragyananda has managed to get nothing out of this opening. Hikaru could try knight g4, knight, and if knight takes, bishop takes, there is pressure over e1, so you could play, I don't know, rook e1, but then rook d2, no? That seems quite strong. So Pragyananda has lost initiative, and it's black who's trying to take over. Oh, you haven't heard about Banzia? That's fine. That's fine. You can check him out. Check him out. His channel's name is Alex Banzia. Interesting guy. What about this witty alien guy? Or the chess nerd? Might be taking completely random names, but well, they are YouTubers, big ones. Oh, Bhargava, let's see. Wait, Gukesh is not playing Nepo, but we were saying that this Carlsbad structure, Fabiano's trying to make a fortress, sort of a fortress with bishop c8, but Gukesh can knight queen c3 with the idea knight e5, which appears to be reasonably strong. Really, all there is to say about this position. The other idea, which is probably possible in the future, is to play bishop e2, knight e1, knight d3, and play f4 to bring knight there. It's a bit too slow though, bit too slow. So main idea for Gukesh is queen c3 and knight e5. Okay, that's for Gukesh. Nepo has figured something out or no? Nepo has taken over as well. Nepo has gotten a slight advantage. Vidit has not played the opening properly. So it all started when bishop was supposed to go to b5 to stop this knight from coming out. But with c4, same idea. Knight c6 to play d5. And if knight a6 to play c5. Vidit opted for c4. This guy, Nepo, played rook e8, h4, bishop f6, c3, passive. And Nepo responds with c5, aggressive. And we can see, due to lack of development, white is not doing as much. White has played all these pawn moves, which happen to be giving him nothing. Since black is a bit more developed, there is a slight advantage for him. Nothing more to be done. Now, how to defend this pawn? That's a question. One move like bishop b2 is really bad. There is knight c6 actually. And you don't even have d5 because I simply have bishop f5 targeting the rook. Appears to be very strong. The knight is pinned to the king. This knight will come to a5. All these weaknesses. Vidit seems to be in practical trouble. Two result game for Gukesh, I would agree. Two result game for Nepo as well, I would say. Yeah, both of them two result game. And the thing is, if Fabiano loses, he's out of the race. Why not double on the b file and sack bishop a6 and get a passer for Gukesh? Let's see. You won't get a passer. You think you would get a passer. You're not getting a passer. Wait, what? I don't understand. What kind of pass pawn are you talking about? So if I put a rook on b2 and a rook on b1, how are we getting a pass pawn? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Where do you want? Like bishop takes a6, b takes a6. Unless you want to sacrifice the rook first. Which seems pretty dangerous because if I'm putting my bishop on c8, rook takes b7, bishop takes b7, I don't know how you'll make that work. Doesn't seem too easy to me. But Gukesh should be playing queen c3. That's the best move to me. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Bhargava. Bhargava, but are you actually with the... No, but okay, a5 is a passer, but you're losing like a rook and a bishop. So I don't know how that works. Like you a pawn to be a pass pawn, you have to get rid of a6 pawn and the b7 pawn. So if I'm putting a bishop on c8, no sacrifices are possible whatsoever. Once black's bishop goes to c8, nothing happens on that side. Your only chance is to play in the center there. Maybe in very long term there could be some sacrifices, but nothing quick. Right now you should be focusing on knight e5. But Bhargava, are you actually with Satvik and Suresh right now? Pretty crazy. And do subscribe, all of you. Like Bhargava, Satvik, and Suresh. Gukesh is leading, Nepo is leading, Pragyananda trailing with half a point. Wait, what's Pragyananda doing? Yeah. Pragyananda can't afford to lose this one. He would be... no. That would be bad. Whoever loses is probably out of the race for the World Championship. Except maybe Gukesh and Nepo because they are ahead by half a point already. So, Suresh subbed yesterday. Okay, awesome. Wait, you guys are on a call or together in like physically? Yeah, understood, Bhargava. Watching Hikaru's fun. Yeah. Pretty cool. These all games look boring today. I mean, no, actually, Gukesh's game is reasonably interesting. Vidit's game is reasonably interesting. Not all games. And Firuja's game was interesting as well. What am I on about? Firuja enjoying with his +3 advantage. Like, how does a 2600 not have his pieces out? That's really strange to me. How are all your pieces inside? Really a great game by Firuja though. Like he paralyzed Black's pieces physically. Nice, Bhargava. Nice. Not too bad. Here I am streaming in exam season. But well, we do we do stuff we do. That doesn't make any sense. But okay. Yeah, I mean, well, okay, like all the games are pretty clear in terms of what's going on. So nothing more to figure out here. Nepo's game seems like there has been some progress. What did Vidit play? Bishop d3. No, no progress actually. With a Nepo could 6 on 96. That's what we are really saying. We were expecting you here. I live in London. Or do you mean on the stream? Which one? On the stream or like with you guys? Yeah. Pretty crazy. Let me see if something special is going on the women's candidates. Women's candidates. Because I was seeing some good preparation in the previous rounds here. Oh wow, look at this one. This has gone crazy. How did we reach here? Bishop c4, d3, d6, knight d2, rook e1. Queen b8, this is a standard line. Like this is the queen a7 famous maneuver. So this is all theory. Queen b8, knight f1, queen a7, rook e2, all theory. h3. Don't know if we are still in theory. They all made their moves quick, so still in theory. Knight g3, bishop d2. Okay, we are trying to play d4 or c4. Queen a6, queen c1, aiming for that juicy h6 pawn. Does the pawn hang here? It does. Bishop takes h6, interesting sacrifice. Oh, black did not have to take. Black had to play knight h7. Taking is losing. Knight e8, you win after rook d2 actually. Rook d2, queen c4, knight g5, f6, knight takes e6, queen takes e6, knight f5 wins because of the rook left. Complicated line, but possible. Complicated though. Rook e8, we had rook d2, we had queen c4, and we had knight takes e5. This was not the correct sacrifice. The plan for this was to play queen g5 and win the rook. Happens to be the case that this is not as good since queen g5, king f8, queen takes d8, a3, and black is dominating. Fly, fly. Bhargava, you need to chill. Instead of Nijat Abdusattorov or Arjun would have been a what would have been a perfect fit for candidates? Wow. Wow, really putting me on the spot here. Oh, actually Bhargava was discussing that with me, so he might have a stronger opinion than Bhargava. I'd like you to answer that question on my behalf. Bhargava was actually discussing this with me a few days ago. Uh, I would have loved to see Grishuk. I think Grishuk would have been fun to watch. Yeah, of course, Hans. How could I forget? Hans. Of course, Hans. Sorry. Grishuk comes second. Hans first. No. Yeah, he's right. Isomaniac. That's exactly what I said as well. Exactly what I said. I'm like, are we just here to watch Carlson win another tournament? What's the fun in that? So that's why I said we should put Hans. Even better if we can put both Hans and Magnus. Even better. So yeah, I mean, Grishuk is fun to watch. No, he'll come in time trouble. He'll play engine like moves when he comes in time trouble. Yeah. I understand, Bhargava. It's just the skill level is not there yet, so we are waiting for the day. But yes, Hans predicted Gukesh will win. I saw he was on ChessBase India stream yesterday, wasn't he? I mean, I said Gukesh was the second favorite. Like my bets were on Hikaru based on the statistics purely, not by personal preference. Based on the statistics, I thought Hikaru was getting in shape, so I thought he had a good chance. But yeah, Gukesh was the second favorite statistically. So yeah, I mean Hikaru or Gukesh are most likely to win. I mean, we could see Nepo win as well. Like, there is no reason to discard Nepo from the race. But the question is, will he able to win the world championship for like on his third try? When will he start streaming? Bhargava, he's got to pass his exams first. He's got to pass his exams. Nepo lost his chances. He will again lose. I mean, you know, we could agree to disagree. We could agree to disagree. What are you laughing at, Suresh? What's so funny here? Should be saying Suresh Bhaiya, really. What are you laughing at, Suresh Bhaiya? What's the funny thing here? I'm joking, of course. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, I was saying that this position should be Bhargava. I am in university. I passed ninth grade long time ago. You gotta chill. You gotta chill. No, A3 has been okay. All this has happened, so now Black seems to be in practical trouble at least. Even though Black is two pieces for a rook, right? Yeah, no. What trouble does Black have? Nothing. And there is only one move which saves White, which is Queen. And if you play a move like B3, C3 pawn hangs, you could play Rook B1, then Queen takes A2. So all these sort of problems are there. Yeah. All right, Bhargava. Still in ninth grade. Yeah, exactly. No way. No. Manmeet Chopra in the chat. Manmeet Chopra. Long time no see, Manmeet. No, no way. No way. This looking like the WhatsApp group chat. Gaba's in the chat too, is he? Is he actually? Raport Abdul Satarov, Gukesh, Pragg, Fabi, Hans, Nekaro. Yeah, seems good. I mean, Raport? Do we need Raport? Uh, Why Raport? I mean, he's a great player. He's a great player. But why Raport? Like, you could make a case for Dubov equally well, no? Personally, I think it would be more fun to watch. Yeah, but Raport, it's not new openings. Raport is just playing really dubious stuff, like objectively dubious stuff. But he's not going for mainstream lines. He's really going for really sidelines. Which I don't know. If you like to watch that, then logical. But I don't know. I prefer more mainstream and then deviating. That's what I prefer. In which sense I like Dubov a bit more because he's at least playing a bit more mainstream stuff, but still coming up with creative ideas there. Also, he helped Dings so he can bring more stuff on the board. Yeah, he did. He did. I understand your point. Bhargav, seriously, like I had the concurrent viewership of like 18 at one point. Some people have gone to sleep, so yeah. But trust me, I was getting good views yesterday and like day before. Yeah, is he actually? No, Bhargav's probably joking. No, I don't believe Gava's in the chat. He's too busy for my stream, I would assume. So, yeah, let's see if there have been other sharp games. Why not? Nothing special in the women's section. Let's go back to the men's candidates, see if something has happened. Okay, wow, what has happened here? Knight c6, d5? When did this bishop come here? Okay, it was here. Knight c6, knight a6 was also a possibility. Yeah, we talked about this. Knight e5 has to be played. Okay, played in a second. And apparently white has to go for bishop takes h7. Nothing else works. If you play bishop c2, bishop goes all the way back to c8, then all the way to a6, and then this pawn is under fire. So, really, yeah, we are in this situation. Bishop takes h7, king takes h7, d takes e6, f takes e6. This is what we are likely to see. Yeah. And now black's position is of course more comfortable. Like Vidit is under time pressure. Nepo isn't really difficult for Vidit. And they are 22 moves away from 22 moves away from the time control. So g4, g5 here we could try. G work here, does it? I could play rook f8. You could play g5. And then I could go check, right? And then I can take on c3 simply. That's one way. That's one way. Let me just check something real quick. Yeah, all good. Okay. So this is what we are looking at here. Oops. Rook b4. Okay. He did play queen c3. Did rook f7, but not knight e5 directly. What would have happened if knight e5 directly? Bishop takes, pawn takes, and there is probably some sort of not clear to me. Is there f4 or no? Pawn takes, rook takes, rook b4. So he started with rook b4. Wow, so rook b4 is amazing prophylaxis. You play knight e5 and after takes you avoid f4. So that's great prophylaxis. And you're also willing to double here. So two threats, two ideas in one go. Two ideas in one go. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, Nepo. Yeah, Nepo hasn't lost a match in this tournament, has he? He's still undefeated, isn't he? So is Fabiano, I think. Fabiano hasn't lost a match either. Who are all the undefeated players? I'm curious. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Fabi lost. Oh yeah, Fabi lost to Hikaru. Right. You're right. Hikaru lost as well. Pragg lost a game. Gukesh lost a game. Nijat lost a game. Yeah, yeah. Nepo's the only undefeated. Well, well, well. Let's see if he continues the streak. Would be great to see if he keeps the streak going. Yeah, I understand. Let me just see. Wow. Wow. Fabiano, nothing with it, nothing. Rugg's position seems to be, deproving bit by bit. Like b5 knight is hanging, you can't take on c6 really. Like this might seem natural at first, but knight c3, you might think this pawn is isolated, but b2 is weak as well. So it really compensates, and with this bishop being so much active, appears to be that black has no problems whatsoever. Nepo got a lose. Yeah, maybe. OBS disconnected. Guys, did the stream disconnect for a bit? Seemed like OBS lost the connection. Lag OP, is it back? Yeah, sorry, is it back now? I don't know what happened. Maybe some glitch. Fix now, right? Okay. That's good. That's good. Let's look at other games, and if they're all slow, I might as well end the stream. Not here. Nothing here. No. Unless you guys have some really important questions. King E2 has great. I mean, yeah, Rook D8. Come on, this is like the dream position for Nepo. Only weaknesses for white. A sharpshooter bishop, well placed knight. Yeah, Nepo could not ask for more as black. And if Nepo wins as black, well, we can say his chances of winning the tournament dramatically increase. Yeah. So with that, I guess I'm going to end the stream as well. It was great meeting you guys. And yeah, probably tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching.